You're the owner of a small business, which means you're also the tech guy, and HR, and personal assistant, and head honcho, and intern. You could use another pair of hands, like the experts you'll find at Verizon Small Business Days, April 21st through 27th. Get a free tech check, special deals, and more. Call 1-800-483-4428 or visit verizon.com/smallbusiness to book your appointment. Verizon Business.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Welcome back to Talking Real Money. It's some of the most important stuff on the radio and on the podcast world. We talk about real-life issues that really make a difference in your life. We want to improve your situation. We want to save you from being ripped off, and Tom is calling me. Hi. Hi. How are you? Good to see you again.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I know.
Did you make it in time?
It's been a while. I did. I was here.
You sound winded.
Resting.
Yeah.
Ran all the way upstairs to drop something off. Come all the way back. That's a long commute. You get it.
I get it. I have this huge commute every day from my den around the corner there.
I know.
To my studio around the corner here. It's tough.
Tough all over.
Life is tough. Anyway, welcome to the program. We really, truly are glad you're there. We're here on this holiday weekend recording this live on Saturday the 26th. You may hear it as a podcast next week, but right now it's the 26th, and we're really here, so you can really call us at 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255.
Now, let me tell a little story from yesterday, because normally with family gatherings, I'm not that embarrassed. I can be embarrassed because, well, it's just me, and sometimes people find me silly. But yesterday, family gathering, it was nice. We had a big Zoom thing with brothers, sisters, nephews, cousins, the whole thing. It was nice. Never would have done that, by the way, if it hadn't been for the pandemic. So it was nice. I saw a lot of people I don't see. But two of my nephews were teasing me endlessly about my rejection of Bitcoin. In fact, one was wearing a sweatshirt that had Bitcoin printed on it. And they kept raising Bitcoin over, like, you told us not to invest in Bitcoin. You told us not to, over and over and over and over again. So I felt like the really old uncle. Well, the guy telling me, don't do that. That is stupid.
Excuse me, but you are the old uncle.
I know. I'd rather be the silly uncle than that.
Yeah, but you're the old crotchety uncle. Trust me.
I know.
I deal with you all the time. But the fact of the matter is, let's talk a bit about Bitcoin. I loved your joke with him, too. That was pretty good. Is that?
Yeah, one was wearing.
Yeah, go ahead.
One was wearing the sweatshirt. It says Bitcoin on it, and I said, you're wearing that. Somebody said you put $100,000 into Bitcoin, and all I got was this lousy sweatshirt.
Yeah,
which I thought was, people did laugh at that one. So
I'm gonna make some of those up for when this thing goes down. I could make a fortune.
That's not a bad. You could actually. That's a great idea.
I put $100,000 in Bitcoin, and all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
I know.
I want to check Bitcoin's price right now. Oh, wait, that's not it. Oh, good. That scared me for a minute. Holy mackerel. Can I ask you all a question? What is wrong with you people? Bitcoin is at, get this, $26,500 per Bitcoin.
Per air. And I think yesterday after our little family get together, they sent me a note, said it was at like 24,000.
Well,
so
that would be correct because since it was let's see, this morning that was yesterday. Yesterday at
it was like at 24.5 or something.
Yeah, yesterday at last night midnight Eastern time, it was at 24.8.
Yeah.
Now it's at 26.5.
Now, I got to ask you, because we started picking on Bitcoin a long time ago, because we got a lot of calls about it.
I've been picking on Bitcoin forever.
But do you feel, and there's well-known people in our industry that are saying, you should have some Bitcoin in your overall portfolio. It should be in there somewhere. It's an asset class. It should be something represented.
Asset class just sounds like obfuscation again. It just sounds like you're kind of making stuff up as you're going along. I have yet not one solid reason for owning Bitcoin. I have never heard one, ever. One good reason for owning
Well,
Bitcoin.
it went from 3,000 to 26,000.
That's
There's a
not the reason. Why should I expect it to keep doing this? Why should I expect Bitcoin to keep going up? What does Bitcoin do? What value does it provide? What means of growth does it have? What makes Bitcoin any better than Diet Bitcoin from 2018? Diet Bitcoin's less
more
Billy.
accepted. It's more accepted now than it was then.
No, I'm talking about Diet Bitcoin. Remember Diet Bitcoin? Do you remember Diet Bitcoin?
I remember real Bitcoin before they came up with the new Bitcoin.
No.
Anyway, that's a whole other.
Diet Bitcoin was started by Pablo Escobar's brother.
Oh, good Lord. That's right. I did forget
Diet
that
Bitcoin.
There's people you should put your full faith and trust in is the, of course, the
But here's my question.
South American drug lords.
Why is regular Bitcoin any more valuable than Diet Bitcoin, which is literally worth nothing? Because they're both created from whole cloth. They both serve the same kind of purpose, which is, what is the purpose? 855-935-TALK. Give us a call. Let's talk about that or anything else, money-wise.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
You know there are a few things more important than planning for retirement, but it does seem complex and convoluted. That's why Tom and I created Retire Meet back in 2015. This year, thanks to COVID, Retire Meet is going both virtual and national. And since you'll be doing your own catering, it's absolutely free. All we ask is that you sign up in advance at retiremeet.com so we can make sure we have enough capacity for everyone. This year's lineup will be our best ever, featuring experts on retirement investing, income generation, Social Security, long-term care, senior housing, estate planning, and more. Of course, Tom and I will be hosting. The consumer man Herb Weisbaum will be there, and we'll be presenting a huge double keynote address featuring both Paul Merriman and Dimensional Funds founder David Booth. Since you can sleep in and even attend in your pajamas, there's no reason to miss Retire Meet America 2021, so reserve your free tickets now at retiremeet.com. That's retiremeet.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, ready? This explains it all, I think. I think this just says it all about Bitcoin. I went online and I typed in, how does Bitcoin make money? Okay, that's a good question.
Something we want to know. Yep.
So it brought me to NerdWallet. And I kind of like NerdWallet. NerdWallet's a cool site.
Good site.
It says, how does Bitcoin make money?
Please.
You got to hear this. Think about. I'm not even going to comment after this is done. I just want all of you to
go right to the calls. You're promising.
Digest it. I'm promising.
Okay.
Bitcoin.
Hold you to it.
Are you done?
I'm not going to say another thing.
Are you done? Are you sure?
That's it. Okay. Not one more thing.
You swear?
Single
you're done.
syllable.
Nothing.
That's it. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Positive?
Yep.
Didn't believe you either. Bitcoin value follows the law of supply and demand. And because demand waxes and wanes, there's a lot of volatility in the cryptocurrency's price. Besides mining Bitcoin, which requires technical expertise and an investment in high-performance computers, most people purchase Bitcoins as a form of currency speculation, betting that the U.S. dollar value of one Bitcoin will be higher in the future than it is today. But that's difficult to predict, unquote. 855-935-TALK is our number, 855-935-8255. Billy, you're up next. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Save us, Billy, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
thank
sir.
you. I appreciate it. Hey, I was calling to find out, kudos to the college student and your advice to him. I was wondering a little bit more about that Acorn, and does all financial officers offer that?
No, Acorns is actually its own company. We get nothing from it. We get absolutely nothing.
It's just a good service.
We don't get anything. We just think it's really cool because you sign up, you connect it to your credit cards, your bank account. It rounds things up. It just rounds up your purchases, and it invests it in what we think are pretty decent, aggressively managed ETFs.
And let me tell you why I love
so I
it,
guess
Billy.
my
I love it
question-
because you don't have to do anything. You don't have to have any discipline. People generally, the big fork in the road is trying to get, especially young people, to say, I'll set aside $100 a month for the next 40 years about my retirement. When you're 25, who cares about your retirement? In this case, they do it for you. No discipline required. It's invested, very low cost. I think it's just, and by the way, Acorns is not the only service that does this. Acorns is the one we happen to know, and we think they're
because we've been talking about
you.
them for a long time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Similar to a 30-10 retirement plan if you're closer to retirement and you kind of want to preserve a little bit of your portfolio? Is it similar
Wait
to
a
that
minute. What's a 30-10?
Well, I believe it's.
I thought that was a
if
weight
you
loss
have,
program.
10% high risk, and then 30% maybe in a secured, not necessarily.
What you're talking about, like balanced investing, like a 60-40 portfolio or a 70-30
Yes,
portfolio or a 30-70 portfolio. No, with Acorns, you can adjust your risk tolerance with time and go to more conservative portfolios as you grow older or more concerned about the future. You can adjust within Acorns, but it's the same kind of thing. Acorns is actually a brokerage firm. They are a firm that is allowed to transact business as a broker just like anybody else in the industry. So that doesn't make them different. What makes them unique is the fact that it's tiny dollar amounts that can be invested, teeny tiny dollar amounts. And they use decent ETFs, and they actually make spending a way to save.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. No discipline required. Mm-hmm. That's how I put it.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for the call, Billy. We appreciate it. 855-935-TALK. Michael, you're up next. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Good, thank you.
So my
What's
question is, I've just recently got out of the military service, and I've got about $18,000 in a thrift savings plan, and I'm trying to decide whether it would be better for me to change that over to something like an IRA or a 401k with my next job, or to leave that inside of that thrift savings plan, even though I can't add any money to it.
Here's my advice. You're going to, and by the way, thank you for your service. So you're going to be moving on to another career, another job, another employer, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, I would simply roll it out of the TSP at that point and move it into my new 401k.
The main reason he's suggesting that is for simplicity of bookkeeping.
Yep.
Because the TSP is fine, and it's actually very good in that it gives you some decent choices and really low fees. But the fact of the matter is that when you start getting too many accounts, you have a TSP, and then you have an IRA, then you have a Roth IRA, and then you have a 401k, and then you have a taxable account. You start getting what I call a hodgepodge portfolio, and you got these bits and pieces, and you kind of lose track of what goes with what. If you roll it right into that new 401k, then you can begin a new asset allocation program in there and get the right allocation for your situation.
And just as a follow-up question, the Roth versus traditional, what is better depending on situations?
Well, for a young, how old are you?
I'm 27.
Well, I'm always going to favor Roth as a savings plan for anyone. Well, for anyone. I mean, it's better because it grows. All that growth you're going to get in that account is tax-free. When you start taking it out in 40 years, you're not going to pay any taxes on it. If it's pre-tax money, like a regular 401k or an IRA, all the growth, when you start hauling it out, you'll pay regular income tax on it.
The only exception, really, in my opinion, is for someone who is in the later years of their earning life, and they are making a lot of money. In their early years, they didn't make a lot, but in their later years, they're making a lot. They're very high bracket. They need to cut their taxes at that point in their life, but after doing some planning, they realize they're likely to be in a much lower tax bracket in retirement. So that's when the pre-tax money, the regular IRA or the regular 401k might make more sense. But we always think that you should have, even if you have the regular pre-tax account, that you have some Roth too to give you flexibility when you get there.
The short answer is, and anyone in their 20s, if they can primarily put it into a Roth, is going to have a far greater advantage because of all those years of growth, tax-free.
Agreed. All right, Michael?
That makes sense. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Happy
Thanks so
New Year.
much, and good luck in your future. 855-935-8255. What?
Has there ever been a year more anticipated than 2021? I mean, where people just want to throw 2020 behind, just get it behind us and move on. Really.
Isn't it over? I thought it was. Oh, wait. No, not yet.
Quite. It's
I got
close,
a few days left.
I mean, really.
No,
I mean,
not in our lifetime, certainly.
Right.
I would imagine that in our parents' lifetime, that maybe they wanted to get World War II over with.
But you could say 1968 because the assassinations,
No. This is worse.
Yeah.
This is worse.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it probably
is worse.
Right.
The only thing I would say World War II, that was probably worse, just generally speaking, because you had the rationing and all that. But this is the worst of my generation, your generation, certainly. 855-935-TALK. Call. We'll talk money.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Is your portfolio a mess? You may have a case of hodgepodgeitis, but don't worry, we can help. Just set up a free, no-obligation meeting with a Vestory advisor at Vestory.com. No sales pitch, guaranteed. That's Vestory.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
You can call us with your questions at 855-935-TALK, or you can send them to us at TalkingRealMoney.com. That's the new and improved TalkingRealMoney.com.
And by the way, I want to mention something. This just came up with our call with Michael. When we recommend Acorns, when we recommend Vanguard, we recommend Fidelity, we recommend Schwab, all kinds of other things, we get nothing from those. We do them because it's the right thing to do. We think it's the best option for you. So many people listen and think, well, there must be some subterfuge or there's something that we're getting. Don's recommended Vanguard for 30-odd years and never gotten a dime from them.
Sorry. No. Actually, in the spirit of full disclosure,
yes,
when I was doing the show from Walt Disney World and I was independently syndicated, in other words, I was putting myself, with Disney's help, up on the satellite and taking care of all the costs and all the support for the stations. I was not part of a network because I got fired from a network because they sold my show to a guy who was a paid commercial.
I thought it was helpful hints from Heloise.
No, Vanguard did for 1 year.
Sorry.
No, wait, 6 months. They sponsored the show. They bought commercials in the show for 1 year at $8,000 a month.
Mr. McDonald has been reimbursed by Vanguard in years previous. Like that.
But
disclosure.
Not now.
Anyway.
I have two questions, actually. I got one that's really fast, okay? Really
Give me the
fast.
easy one.
Guys, I guess that's us. Will Retire Meet be recorded so those who are working can see it? Yes.
I have no idea.
I know the answer. We will record it. Can I guarantee it'll all work? No. But we're going to try to record it.
Can you guarantee the actual event will all work?
No.
Maybe.
No.
It's going to be.
Are you kidding?
Be fun.
This is the first time we've ever tried anything of this magnitude. We are trying to do a national event.
I know.
On Zoom with over 1,000 people nationwide.
Not to mention
with all the presenters
speakers
all over the place with different tracks. So that you can go, okay, I want to see this one now and this one later. Yeah. We're trying to make all that work and record it too. What do you think the answer is? We have no idea.
I don't want to think about it.
855-935-TALK. Call us. Let me get another question. This one you can answer. You can do this one.
Oh, thanks. Since I didn't know the EV thing? Okay.
EV.
EVA,
electric vehicles.
Everything has to have an acronym now.
After-tax, subject, after-tax versus 401k contributions. Hello, Tom and Don. At my new job, I have the opportunity to contribute to pre-tax, Roth, and after-tax buckets. Currently, I contribute 15% of annual salary to the Roth. I would like to contribute to the after-tax account an amount of 20%. Note, this after-tax account allows for daily conversions to Roth. Oh, it's a backdoor account. Is there a tax benefit with this 15 to 20% approach? What if the 20% goes into the 401k Roth and the 15% into the after-tax? Will I further save on tax based on a lower after-tax contribution and conversion? Go.
And
this is the speed test.
Remember the answer to the last question was what?
Same as this one.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, that is actually
I
that is
don't
pretty
know.
much the correct answer. Because here's the problem.
I see what they're saying. Yes, I understand, but
the
I'd have to know
problem
your
is
tax rate.
we'd have to know your current tax rate,
Yep.
and we'd need to know your future tax rate,
No.
and that one's impossible. We can't know your future tax rate.
Well, I don't know. I guess
We
I
could
don't. I
guess.
mean, but going back to the beginning, I guess first thing would be: are you saving up to the max you can save for your age?
Sounds like it. but
That'd be.
I don't know.
Okay, that would be one. Then, depending on your age and your tax circumstance, that's where you would make the decision between pre-tax or regular 401k or Roth 401k or the special super Roth backdoor approach. That's where the decision would be made.
Right, and making as we said, generally speaking, the younger you are, the bigger the bang for the buck with a Roth.
Absolutely.
But it really comes down to what is the expectation for taxes in the future, and as we all know, the future cannot ever be accurately and consistently predicted. It just can't be
Even
done.
2021, I've been reading all this stuff about here's
I-
what's going to happen.
I'm telling you, I even bought
Come
some
on.
new masks because I don't expect to be out of them anytime soon. 855-935-TALK.
Don are talking real money.
Learn about estate planning, Medicare, Social Security, senior housing, investing for retirement, generating income in retirement, and protecting yourself from consumer scams, along with a special keynote duo, Paul Merriman and David Booth, the founder of Dimensional Fund Advisors. Reserve your free place now at retiremeet.com, retiremeet.com.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Hey, hi, welcome back. I'm Don McDonald. Over there is Tom Cock. This is Talking Real Money, where we talk about financial stuff with you. Trying to make life a little easier, trying to make money more manageable, but the ultimate goal is trying to put more money in your pocket long term, trying to make life more comfortable. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. That's 855-935-8255. We're here in the studio, and you can call us. We're actually working on the 26th of December because we're just really excited that it is the 26th of December, because that means it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little over 5 days till this stupid year is over.
I already have the calendar ready to put up in place. I was thinking I might do it today. Just get it out of the way.
See,
But yeah, I'm really excited.
Wait, this is another perfect example of the contrast between the two of us.
Yeah.
I own no paper calendars. I have a
Yeah,
phone.
well, I've got
I have a
I've
phone.
got the same one in my office. It's the same calendar company for the last 15 years.
I'm guessing.
Take a
Wait,
guess.
I'm
Take a
guessing
guess.
it's World War
I
II
know.
aircraft.
Oh, look at you. You're such an intelligent guy. I'm looking right now at the F4U Corsair right now, which a beautiful blue plane, but it's coming down. Might come down as early as tomorrow. Sorry.
Well, so we're coming up on the end of the year, and
Yeah.
you know, this is the time when people go, well, what do I need to do to get into the new year better, to enjoy the new year more? And you know, you get all the typical rote stuff, you know, tax loss selling and stuff like that, but you know, from financial guys or fund your or whatever it is. So what's yours?
Well, I'll tell you, part one, and I do this every 6 months. You already know this. It's kind of boring, but I have a spreadsheet that says the things, the assets and the liabilities.
It's not a spreadsheet. It's one of those green notebooks with the
and I have the cap on with the light. No, I mean, I have a spreadsheet.
In a computer?
And I've already done it. In a computer, yes. But I do print it out and hand it to my wife.
Okay, yeah.
Sometimes she's happy, sometimes she's sad. So, but I put in the value of my home. I put in the value of my little company. I put in the value of my 401k, all those assets.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the bottom of it, I have the liabilities, right? My mortgage, et cetera, et cetera. And then I have a sort of a net value, because I think unless you have that, you have no starting place. Because what we see oftentimes is people come in and say, I got to invest in this. Well, how come? Well, because it's exciting. I got to go do that. Well, how does that fit in your plan? No idea.
No, because
You
it
gotta
just
know where you
contributes
are.
to the hodgepodgery.
Exactly. You got to know where you are before you can start a path to wherever you want to get to. So that's my big one that I see most people do not do. Most.
Okay. Yeah.
What about you?
I think that's a good one. It's one I'm not going to do, but I think it's a great one.
All right.
I don't think
Again, not taking my advice.
I don't think
sure,
I want to
good.
be that depressed. I don't think I want to look at my spreadsheet and go, oh, really?
That's why a lot of people don't do that, by
Yeah.
the way. I don't want to see how bad it's going to look. It's like going to the doctor or checking my weight.
But
I want to know.
But I think because of just, the current situation and the fact that I really would like to at some point maybe enjoy the new year, that I figure the best thing to do is to lock myself in a dark room with a giant bottle of Maker's Mark and just cower in fear for the next few months until the vaccine's
Well,
here.
how is that different
than what I've been doing
different than what
anyway.
you do today? I mean, that's 2020 all over again. I don't see any big change there.
All right. Seriously.
Yeah, all right.
Seriously. And this is something that I have done at the end of the year. I don't get
All right.
into the whole spreadsheet, but this kind of
Yeah.
dovetails into it. And I just did it for next year. Every year I have my budget, my life budget for living the year. Mm-hmm. And then I go back in and I tweak it based on whatever's changed, bills that have changed, income situation that's
smart.
changed,
Yeah.
all of those things. Because then I'm a little less long-term oriented than you. I'm more like, am I going to make it through the next year?
There.
I am. Look, it's good.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's smart. And by the way,
and that's
that
even
does
with
a
having
couple of
two
things.
houses right now, which is
Well, I'm going to give you credit for 3 because you got the one sitting on the side of the road.
two.
But I mean, here's the thing. I think that's great because here's what it does. It not only shows you kind of a snapshot, which I like, but it also, this is something that you've talked about for a long time. If you go in and look at all those expenses, there might be things there you're paying for that you don't need. I, for example, have NFL ticket. That is gone the minute I think it's over at the end of the month or so. I'm not renewing that. Stuff that you're paying for, you're rolling your eyes. Stuff you're paying for that may not be a good use of your money.
Okay. Let me just, how long have we known each other? Yeah.
I hate to say it's like 30-something
I
years.
seem to remember that every year toward the end of the Raiders' horrible season that you
I'll
say
say the
you're
same
not
thing.
going to watch it next year.
All right, that is it.
And, like me,
I
and a
need Lucy.
long-suffering
I'm
Broncos
hold the ball
fan,
here for you, Charlie.
I keep coming back to DirecTV Sunday Ticket, too. You will. I know you will.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Set your course for a great future with a free copy of our 60-page Better Retirement Guidebook at vestory.com, vestory.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Only because it's really darn important. We know you need money. You know you need money. Well, it's why we get greedy, why we do dumb stuff. But we want you to do smart stuff with your money. We want you to manage it sensibly and try to enjoy a decent income from it, not get greedy. Lower your expectations, diversify like crazy, and then call us at 855-935-TALK. You can call us 24 hours a day, by the way, and leave your questions. Or you can send them in at TalkingRealMoney.com, the new and improved TalkingRealMoney.com.
Beautiful website.
Like this one.
Yeah.
The subject of this question is seemingly identical fidelity funds. Why? We've gotten this one before. All right. It seems that FZROX and FSKAX, I'll tell you what those are. That's the Fidelity Total Market Zero Fund and the Total Market Fund. They're identical total market index funds from Fidelity, he says. He says they're identical. Or she. Is it a he or she? I don't know. Oh, it's a he. One of the differences is the expense ratio of FSKAX, the total market fund, being 0.015% to FZROX, which is the zero fund, at 0.0%. You recommend FSKAX, which is the total market. Why? What am I missing? May 2021
We'd like you to pay
be
Fidelity
safe
more
and prosperous
your
for you, your families, and staff. Thanks.
That's nice. I'm kidding about paying Fidelity more. I'm looking at the funds here.
You want me to tell you why?
Please.
It really comes down to the fact you said they are identical total market index funds, and they're not. They are not identical. There is a difference in the portfolio. The FSKAX, the total market fund at 0.15%,
15 basis points, ones we give you that one at the website,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The difference is it owns the entire U.S. stock market.
Big, small, etc.
FZROX owns part of the U.S. stock market. It is what we call, or I call, an emulator fund. It tries to match the index, but it doesn't. And in the last year, the zero hasn't been around very long, so it doesn't have much track record.
Couple of years. Yeah.
Its 1 year average annual return is a half a point less than the average annual, or was a half a point less than the average annual return for the total market fund. So they're not identical.
They're kind of a closet index.
Which would have been the better fund for you over that 1 year period, though?
Well, again, I mean, the point here is what we believe is you should own more, not less. What we believe you should not have any active management, right?
Right.
And they do have active management there. They are picking stocks.
Well,
to some
they're
extent.
emulating.
They're weighting them.
They're basing it on an algorithm.
Exactly.
They're basing it on an algorithm.
Yeah, who wrote the algorithm? I mean, this is so
another company.
It's fuzzy, but again, that's why we would pick the one over the other.
Yeah, but I mean, the reality has been, and we don't know that this will continue into the future, but they can be different. That's the point I'm trying to make. When you don't exactly follow the index, even though your expectations are for them to perform almost identically, they didn't. And I would rather own the whole index and only pay 0.015% is 15/100ths.
Pretty cheap.
Of a point.
Yeah, and this is a fine point, but an important one. Here's the thing. When you own an index fund, you know what you own.
Yep.
When you own the zero fund, you don't necessarily know what you own, and you don't know what you're going to own tomorrow, because somebody there may wake up and say, hey, we missed out on Tesla because it's up 700% this year. We need to throw a couple more bucks at that. And that's where I start to get nervous about things, because there's more human judgment involved that it might add to your return, but it might reduce it. I'd rather know what I own each and every day. That's just me.
And you have to keep this little nugget in mind. The fee on $10,000. What's that? $15.
$15. Yeah, you're getting it pretty inexpensive.
I don't know. I just don't. I think the zero funds are a Fidelity gimmick. Of course, they're a gimmick.
Sure, they are.
They created them as a loss leader to get you in the door. And I don't see what purpose they serve.
They're trying. Remember, you always got to go back to where a firm started. Fidelity was the champion of active management. They had Peter Lynch. They had other people picking stocks that were going to do better than the index. Then it didn't. Then Vanguard came in and took over, and so much of the inflows went to Vanguard that Fidelity finally said, hey, we better, speaking of emulation, we better do something like those guys, because there goes the game. It's going across town. So they now offer both. And for me, it's like being a Republican and a Democrat at the same time. I don't know how you do it very well.
Wait, I am. I call myself a Republican or a Democrat. I'm not sure which.
You know what? I think at some level you got to believe what you believe, though. So
I do believe what I believe. And what I believe is in the middle of what two people believe. I think that's believing what I believe.
This is beyond belief right now.
I agree. Okay, you want one more question? Yeah, we have time for this.
Yeah,
one.
sure. Why not?
Okay, this one's about cost basis tracking. Any good strategy for cost basis tracking in ordinary brokerage account? This is for making small purchases over a long period of time. How do we keep records of all purchases, dividends reinvested, splits and reverse splits, etc., for 20 to 30 years? Please advise this affects what we purchase, how we purchase, and continuous bookkeeping. Thank you.
Well, in today's world,
you don't need to.
Actually, by the way, if the new administration have their way, you won't, because then when you go to hand that off to somebody, people are going to have to pay the whole bill anyway. Well, actually, setting that aside, I misstated that, because in that circumstance, you won't.
Let's not get into politics.
But here's the thing. The custodians today do a much better job than they used to, and they'll keep track. Every little piece you buy, they'll keep track of that for you.
The reason this was difficult in the past is because people actually took possession of shares.
Correct.
There were splits and purchases and all these things that you literally had to keep track of because you had the shares in your safe.
Yeah.
Now they are kept in what is called street name. They are held at the brokerage firm. You don't take possession of them. So they keep track of the cost basis. They keep track of the splits and the dividends and your adjusted cost basis and all of those things. And they're going to keep track of them. You're going to get either online statements or paper statements that have all of that information very, very clearly enumerated. And when you sell, you will get a statement, either online or on paper, that shows exactly what your cost basis is, exactly what your gain is, that you can then contribute or then submit to the IRS. This is not like the days when you had to worry about it when you kept them in your name.
My only caveat to that would be I would always check things, especially when you inherit them, because I have seen people inherit some.
Now, that's different, yes, because you
get
an adjusted cost basis.
Yep. And people don't pay attention to that, and then 5 years later they sell it and go, whoa, I only owe it since that date. No, we didn't know that was an inherited amount at that point. Very important to pay attention to that because you have to go back in and fix it. So,
right.
But otherwise, custodians do a way better job today than they used to when it comes to cost basis.
I have never in any of my statements seen any issue with that. I haven't been keeping track of that, since I was in the industry 30 years ago. So I would not worry my head about that. Thanks.
I would worry my head about the new year, and I'll just say Happy New Year, and here's to a great 2021. How about
and we'll
that?
be here for our first New Year's show next week, so listen in then.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Now everyone can meet the retirement of their dreams at Retire Meet America 2021 online. Sign up now for free at retiremeet.com. That's retiremeet.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
And what is the big thing? What is the big life event for which you save and you scrimp and you invest and you struggle so that you can get to a point in life where you don't have to worry about money anymore? Yeah, we call it retirement. And to help you meet the retirement of your dreams, we have an event called Retire Meet. It goes national this year, and it goes online actually next year in 2021. So go sign up. Go right now to our brand new website. Sign up. It's free this year, and it's virtual, and we've got great guests. You can go to retiremeet.com, retire MEET, and sign up for this event. Absolutely free, but please reserve your seat soon so we can plan for however many people show up. Retiremeet.com.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately and consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestry, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. That should keep the lawyers happy.